actually took some time to read some manga today. I do think I'm gonna try to get through like I don't know, one volume a week and then do a vlog about it. It's been a while because I really wanted to get back more into reading like, more normal books. So I've been reading a lot of mystery novels. And when it comes to those kind of things, like, what can I say besides like, it was good. It's just like with Emio, well, that wasn't a real mystery novel, but it was a video game. Like with Emio, it's like, oh yeah, my target audience, we can talk about, how it's different from other Nintendo games and like what you do in the game and stuff like that. When it comes to like standard mystery novels, like when you read like a Richard B. Parker novel and you just kind of like get bored of it and start thinking to yourself just how much better Raymond Chandler is, right? You're just kind of like, I mean, do I really need to make a YouTube video about that? Like, it's just one of those things because I still like the novel to a certain extent. Like, it's not terrible, but again, there are things about it that just make me go, like, really, really. And, like, a lot of books I read are like that, where I'm just like, I'm glad I read them for the experience to, like, to get into new things and, like, just process more information. But, like, there's just not that much to talk about sometimes, right? Like when it comes to mystery novels specifically. So like going to manga, which I think is a lot more like interesting. It's to talk about online because of like the visuals, the themes, the ideas, the simple fact that like manga YouTubers are just a much more prolific thing than I think book YouTubers. Again, I feel like there's just so much more to talk about. Like I could excel more talking about manga. And today I went ahead and finished the first volume of Parasyte, something that was on my list to read list for a very very long time. Ever since they announced Slitterhead, actually, the only good thing to ever come out of any TGA award show ever, other than like No More Heroes 3. Like I look usually you look at a TGA like game like trailer and like it's always some indie thing you're never gonna care about and never gonna pick up. It's gonna bomb. Nobody cares about it. And then like Slitterhead, actually looked awesome, right? You had like these monsters going around disguised as humans. It's a horror game. Everybody had wild powers. It was from the creators of like Silent Hill or something, right? It looked really, really, really cool, and it's coming out this year actually. And I think I might actually pick it up on my gaming PC. But like, I really I was told that the concept of the Slitterheads was ripped straight from a manga called Parasyte. And that kind of made me wonder, like, worry about, like, is this like a plagiarism thing or are they like innovating on the concept? Again, it looks like they did to me, but I didn't really know anything about Parasyte, right? And so I picked up this manga, read it, the first volume. So like I'm what, like 10 chapters in, 8, 9, something like that. I read this volume, and it's like I think it's basic. Going by like my first impressions over reading this. Like I was expecting some kind of like serious horror story. I was expecting some like high concept stuff. I was expecting some like alien invasion. I was expecting like real stakes, real consequences, real things that's happening. Instead, it's just like it has this weirdly dark element to it when it comes to like the parasites like just coming down and like eating people. Like they dig into your skin and they try to get to your brain and eat it, and then you become one of them, and they go around like eating people, like learning how to be human and stuff like that. Like again, like it seems like what it's set up like a horror story, but then it like does this thing where it's like a shonen battle thing, right? Where like the protagonist, like he gets attacked by a parasite, but it goes for his right arm instead, right? Like in Godhead, where like the right arm is like possessed. It's like just transplanted on. So like the parasite goes into his arm instead of his brain, and for some reason it just eats his hand and replaces it, and now suddenly he has this alien like thing on his arm, right? And it has all these powers. It's like sentient. It can like stretch. It can grow eyes and blades on the fingers and stuff like that. Like it's an actual. It's like a shonen powers superpower, right? And the protagonist is not worried about this at all. Like he freaks out at first, but then he starts like just living with this thing and he decides not to tell anyone about it because oh no, the parasite might do something to me. It's like, wait, so you're telling me throughout this entire manga that parasites are everywhere, people are going missing, right? There's all these signs of grisly murders, and nobody is able to figure out that it's an alien invasion. Like even though they're out in the open, even though they're like clearly observable, even though that they're going out and like doing things all the time, that they're like really blatantly obvious about what they do, like they're always like shifting their faces and becoming monsters, and like it's not. I have a really hard time believing that this alien invasion would have lasted longer than like a couple of chapters, right? Because like they should have been identified and rooted out like immediately. It's like with the zombie thing. Like, oh man, someone's a zombie. Like it would be dealt with like immediately. Like like nothing would happen. An entire new field would like crop up, dealing with this new threat. But it just wouldn't like it it wouldn't amount to anything, right? Like again, like the parasites, they come in, they try to take over the planet for seemingly no reason. Like again, the protagonist, like Parasyte, is just like, oh, I don't remember what I was sent here to do, but like apparently they're just here to like eat people for no reason, and so like she and so they like fight with other parasites. The protagonist like hangs out with his girlfriend and tries to hide like the parasite thing. And I'm just like, you're really more worried about getting laid than with the oncoming alien invasion, right? Like he's not concerned about the invasion at all. Like he's so like relaxed about it. Like, oh, my parents could be killed, but oh well. Like it's like, huh? Like really? It's like blatant like shonen protagonist thing where like they want the protagonist to be seen as the special individual who has like insight into the inner workings of the parasite. So he forms this bond with one of them, and it just doesn't make any sense and it doesn't resonate at all. Like I just don't enjoy it. Like it just feels unbelievably forced. I can't stand it actually. It's like I don't like the characters. I don't like their dynamic. It's like awkward. It's stilted. Like it ruins interactions with other characters that are better implemented, right? It's like, why did the parasite have to be like its own character, right? If it didn't eat the brain, like would it have developed? Should it have like developed its own sentience, right? It's it's just like it just doesn't seem all that good at what it sets out to do. Like it seems like it just completely fails at really making its core concept sound intriguing. Like really making it look like make the parasite seem like a threat. And it just feels like to me that like the people like deserve to get invaded by these filthy parasites because like what are they doing to stop the disappearances, right? Like they can't figure this out. Like they don't have like security cameras everywhere. Like they don't have like again, how is this possible that people can't figure this out? Like it just drives me nuts. And the protagonist does nothing, right? He doesn't care about that at all. It's all just like, oh no, my teacher is one of them, and oh no, she's pregnant, and I can't kill her because like, oh, that would kill the baby. Like weirdly based anti-abortion stance, which was kind of awesome. But like, uh, Like, what? Like, why am I supposed to be invested? Like, why should I care? Like that's kind of like my mindset. Like, going through this is that like, I like the '90s aesthetic, but you can read any '90s manga series and get like similar looking characters, right? But they didn't do anything to make this story really stick out and really intrigue me. I just don't think this is something that is grabbing me, and I'm not enjoying it at this stage. There have been times where like I've gotten more into manga as I've read through them, but yeah, I don't think Parasite is one of them. We'll have to see at this stage, but I am somewhat like let down by what I'm reading at this point. We'll have to see just how the story develops going forward.